98 Rock. Call or text the BS anytime. 916-909-0985. Now, back to the Bailey Show.
I appreciate you being here. It's the BS. My name's Jason Bailey. There's Nikki D. There's Nelson. There's Kyle on the other side of the glass. And our guest has had a rough last couple weeks. This story is making its way from the lovely state of Georgia nationally, internationally, I say, by the end of today. Just because it's got every element of jaw-dropping. This, yeah, right, Susan? It's a jaw-dropping situation. So Susan Hodgson is a fine young Southern woman that gets a call from a neighbor, and your neighbor tells you what, Susan?
She says, she asked me if I hired someone to tear my house down, and I said no. She said, well, someone's up here just demolished the whole house. It's gone. And I was in shock. I was like, what? That just made no sense to me at all.
Yeah. You know, the first time when I saw the headline of the story, I was like, oh my God, I hope nobody was in the house.
Right.
Right. But that's not the
Correct.
case. Give us a little background on this house and how you own it.
Okay. Well, years ago, my husband had bought it. And then, anyway, so he bought it and we ended up signing it over to his mother. And it's in his mother's name now. And my husband's passed away 12 years ago. And so she's 87 and owns the whole street that we live on. It's a dead end street. And so, we boarded it up after my husband passed away. And it's just, we've kept it up, we've kept the taxes paid on it. The yards are cut and cleaned and everything, and that's what blew my mind the most. I'm like, why would anybody come tear this house down when there's no reason for anybody to even be on the property,
Right.
Mind blowing.
So the company, it's called We Haul It, is the company in question that demolished Susan's house. And have you gotten any explanation why they picked your house?
No, absolutely not anything.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing. I gave them a whole month. I thought, well, let's give them a month and see if anybody reaches out to us. And then nothing.
Were you able to
Absolutely
speak
nothing.
to anybody when you were calling?
I've called and left 2 messages, not saying who I was, but just to ask, about coming to tear down a house. And no one's responded or called me back.
Okay, so the company, You Call It, We Haul It, has not responded to you in the last 4 weeks, but I heard that they said that they did reach out to you.
No, they have not.
At all? Zero, no communication?
Zero, nothing.
All right, well, so what's the next step in this? Obviously, your house is done. Does insurance pay for this or what?
No, we do not have insurance. We just had liability on it.
Mm-hmm.
But we have no insurance on it. We have nothing. There's no money to clean it up. No, nothing.
Wow.
So we're just sitting here hoping something happens.
Yeah.
Hope he comes through and does the right thing and cleans his mess up.
Would you be?
Like that'd be the right thing to do.
Would you be okay with that if they made the mistake, but you're like, that's fine. Let bygones be bygones. Just clean the mess up and we'll move forward. No harm, no foul. Would you be okay with that?
Yes, as long as it's cleaned up, back to looking like a good piece of property, not just a rumbled mess.
Oh, so you don't want them to build you a new house or pay you for your house if they demolish? You just want them to pick up all the stuff and take it away?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, because I think I'd want some compensation.
I do want it cleaned up. I definitely want it cleaned up.
Yeah.
There is a 2-car garage on there that they didn't take down. There's no sense in that sitting there with no house. I'd want the whole lot just cleared off and fixed back up like it, a vacant lot. But
that's such
just clean up what he took down. Fix it.
That's such like an old Southern mentality of just being sweet and being like, you know what, it was a mistake, and just come and clean up your mess, young man.
Yeah, no.
And do
the right thing.
Well, the right thing is paying you for the property.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like the house, was there anything inside of the house?
Well, actually, there was. I had an antique dresser that was my mother-in-law's when she got married.
Mm-hmm.
And she's 87, and she was 18 when she got married, so 60 years ago. And I had it in the front room of the house, and my intentions was to restore that for her one day, and so that's totally demolished. The mirror, the antique mirror, everything is just gone.
God, what do you do? I mean,
That's what I was about to ask. Like, could you contact the state, or like, did you call the police? Like, are any of them liable? What the police say?
The police said they just wrote a report, damaged property. That's it.
I'll say.
damaged
And
property.
gave me a police report, and I called code enforcer. Thank goodness, they were out the next day looking at the house. I never received anything from them, but I called to make sure they knew I did not tear that house down without permits. That wasn't me. That was someone else that did that. I'm trying to figure out what to do next.
Your neighbor,
Thank goodness they haven't given me a ticket for it.
right? Your neighbor was the one that called you because you were on vacation when this took place. So when your neighbor called you and asked you if you hired someone to tear your house down, you obviously said no. But did the neighbor of that house, did that neighbor get any video footage of this happening?
Oh yeah. She didn't get video, but she got lots of pictures of the trucks, the name of the trucks, the DOT numbers, the tag numbers, which, matter of fact, one of the tags on the trailer was expired. And so, she really didn't get pictures. She only got pictures of one of the workers. But,
and did you try to call them? Did you try to call, you call it, we haul it, and say, hey, this is Susan. I mean, what's the deal, dude? What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, I didn't call and act like I was who I was. I just acted like I was someone else, just to see if they would call me back, and then I could confront them. But they never called me back.
Oh, they knew it was you. And they got nasty with your neighbor when she tried to stop them, right?
Correct. They told her to shut up. I'm saying it nicely.
Yeah.
And mind your own business.
Yeah, they I think they told her to piss off or something. I mean,
yes.
The nerve.
They're British rednecks or what? But it's not really a Georgia thing to say. It's just kind of weird. I really, honestly, Susan, I like to always think that I've got some type of solution for every problem, but and I know this has happened before, but I think the gap in here is that you did not have homeowners insurance. So, but still, there's some type of liability with a company tearing down your house that wasn't hired to do so. So I know that when we spoke prior to you coming on the program, I asked you if you had an attorney, and you said you had not gotten an attorney yet. And I'm surprised that you don't have a million attorneys as this story gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, I just saw TMZ had put it up that they haven't been knocking your door down. So I gave Susan the number 2, the one and the only Mad Dog Manny Aurora with Aurora Law, and this guy is the best of the best.
He will get the job done for sure.
Based out of Sandy Springs, Georgia, but you see this guy on national news all the time, and he's a very good friend of mine and a very good friend of the program, and spoke to Manny this morning, and he's open to hearing what you have to say. So that number that I sent to you, make sure you reach out and get a sit down with Manny, okay?
I sure will, and I appreciate everything y'all doing.
Yeah, well, I here's the thing. Obviously, we feel horrible for you because you sound like such a sweet woman, but I'm curious on what happens. I mean, not that I think, this is like the less than 1%, right? I've seen it happen before, periodically throughout time, but I've never actually, I think, talked to somebody that's had this happen to them, and I don't know what happens next.
Yeah, I've never seen a story like this go on and nothing happens to the people that did it. I've always thought that a person makes a mistake, they right their wrongs, they fix it, not just completely blow you off.
Well, that's why they have insurance.
That's exactly what that's what blows my mind the most is that he has absolutely said nothing to us. about fixing the problem.
Well, and that's a huge mistake. Is I mean, this happened. I mean, this didn't just happen. When did this actually take place?
September the 15th, I believe it was. It was on a Friday.
Okay, September the 15th. And we're just now hearing about it. Why? Because you decided to let the world know, or what?
Well, yes, because I gave them a month and nobody said anything. And then I thought, well, now how am I going to clean this up if I don't get out there and let some up, and this ain't right. At first I thought they were targeting the senior citizen, seeing that my mother-in-law was elderly, and thought, well, I'll just take this property from her, truthfully. And I thought, well, what if this is happening to other senior citizens too,
Mm-hmm.
So
Would you go? Would you go to the local news?
Yes, I went to local news,
Yeah.
and they've been pretty good about keeping it out there, So.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm just hoping, that he makes this right.
Yeah. He should have. This company should have owned. I mean, it's not about owning it. You did it.
You did it.
Like there
You're not going to get away with that.
There's nothing you can deny. You demolished this woman's house. So a conversation and to have a continuous relationship with a person is the smart move. Now you done pissed her off, and she goes to the media, and the word gets out. You're the bad guy. She's the good person. And so, the next is going to be, you're going to be taken for more than probably what you would have been taken for if you would have been cool at the beginning.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. All
Correct.
right. Well,
you're so right.
Here's what I want to ask of you, Susan. Let us know how the conversation goes with Mad Dog Manny, Aurora. Okay. And I'm going to text you here in a little bit. If you could send us the few of the pictures that your neighbor took so we can post them on our social media, we'd appreciate that, okay?
Okay. Well, thank y'all so much.
All right. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right. Y'all have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I
She
miss hearing
sounds
that.
so sweet.
I know. I miss hearing that almost
makes
every
me
day.
homesick.
I know, a little bit, right? I don't know if anyone listening right now has ever seen anything like this. I mean, very rarely am I shocked or I haven't seen something. Mm-hmm. You get kind of desensitized in this profession because every day something nutty happens and you talk about it and it is what it is. But like I said, I've seen stories like this before. I've just never talked to someone that's had it happen. So I don't know what happens next. I'm assuming it's a pretty simple fix. She goes to Mad Dog Manny. Mm-hmm. They go to court. They win.
Right.
And their insurance, as Nelson pointed out, from the company has to pay for, I don't know, something.
I mean, we're talking about Mad Dog Manny. I don't even think they're going to go to court. I think Manny's going to scare their pants off before that even happens, and they're just going to fix everything.
Yeah. Mad Dog.
I know. Not going to make it to court.
I know those here in Sacramento aren't familiar with Mad Dog Manny Aurora, but, I've known the guy for, 10 years, and he's one of the best defense attorneys in the country.
Yeah.
But he also does other things other than a defense attorney. But, I mean, you'll see sometimes you'll pop on CNN
Yeah, it's
or
just
Fox.
on CNN.
Right. He's that guy. He's Mad Dog Manny Aurora. He represented Ray Lewis back in the early 2000s. He's represented actually just about everybody in the NFL.
Everybody.